Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how to put together your levitation photos in Photoshop. So make sure you have Photoshop open, and you're going to want to open up your two photographs. So to do this photo, I went outside and then I got a kitchen stool and then I posed myself so I was like doing kind of like a plank. So I was trying to look like I was kind of flying through the air. And when you're using a person, you want to make sure that their pose kind of looks like that they're floating. So make sure you have their feet pointed or their hands pointed in a way that it really looks like they're floating once you take away your support. So whether that's a step stool, a kitchen stool, a chair, anything like that. So you really want to think about your pose first. If you're using an object and you have it suspended with fishing line, or I've seen toothpicks, same thing. You want to make it in a way that when you take out your support, it's going to look like it's floating. So I have this one picture that my friend took, and I will say I took this with my phone, and not ideal because when you're taking your photos, you want to make sure the settings are exactly the same. So if I was taking this with a camera, I would make sure my aperture was like at f11. Both pictures, nothing changes. So if you're trying to do this with a phone, it might be a little bit more challenging because your settings might change. But so here's my first photo, and then you're going to have a second photo of just the background. And what's also crucial is that your background and your photo are taken the same angle, not moving around. So you can see mine, I had a friend help me. It's a little bit off. Not too big of a deal. We'll fix it, but it's way, way, way easier if you don't have it offset too much to start with. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have my background here, and then I'm going to paste this on my background picture. So I'm going to do Control A, Control C. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do Control V. So now I have two layers, and then you can see my background layer has a lock. So I'm going to double click and make it layer 0 so it is no longer locked. So now that it's no longer locked, I'm going to hold my Shift key, and I'm selecting both of those layers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to align the image. So this will make it so when I'm trying to do a layer mask and match things up, the picture will already be aligned with what's in both pictures. So I'm going to go up to Edit, and I'm going to go to Auto Align. So I'm just going to leave it on Auto right here, and I'm going to go OK. And then you'll see there's some checkerboard. So the computer automatically kind of turned things and lined up the top of the fence and the corners. So when I do this, it will match. So things won't be kind of kilter. Since I do have some of this, I am just going to crop it out. And then you can crop it. Here's your ratios up there. I'm just going to leave it original. Like I said, I did this like 5 minutes in my backyard. I should have spent a little more time on it. I just was trying to get a tutorial for you guys done. But next time I would also take this further back because like you can see my feet are almost off the page. But let's keep going. So now my layers are aligned. What I'm going to do is create a selection of myself and then a layer mask. So I'm going to make sure this layer is highlighted. And Photoshop has come so much from the last time I taught this like 5-6 years ago. To make a selection, you used to have to like draw around it and like mess with the little points. Now it's almost like dummy proof. So there's two ways to select the subject. If you have this contextual taskbar down here, if you don't, if you go up to Window and you make sure that's checked, it'll pop up. You can use this. And then you can see it also got rid, or it also added the stool, so I don't want that. You can go in there with the tools and take it out, but I'm going to use this. But again, it doesn't matter. You can use whatever selection tool you want. And then let me find, I'm going to do Object Selection, and then there's more selection tools up here. So prior to all this, I would have said Quick Selection. And then you can see, as I'm moving my cursor, it's figuring out what the subject is. So if I get it in the right spot, look, it selects pretty much all of me. That's a pretty decent selection. So I'm going to click. And there are my marching ants. It's not quite perfect. I want to kind of adjust it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the Select and Mask menu. And then right here, I can change how it looks. So I can do this and I can see there's a little bit of stuff here I need to kind of fix. And then here, so this is just different views of the same thing. So whatever is comfortable for you to look at. So I'm just going to use the marching ants for right now. And here's another one. And then you can also have all of these tools. So the radius of the selection, how smooth the selection is, the feathering, contrast. So I would definitely play around with it. So there's all these other tools up here. So if you really like Photoshop, these are some things that you're probably going to need to learn. Okay, so what I'm going to do is refine my selection a little bit. So I'm Control Plusing. And then I don't know why it always seems like when I do the Select and Mask, it loses my shirt right there. So I'm going to go here, the brush tool. I'm on the plus because I want to add. And then I'm just going to take my brush and go over the edge just like this. And then again, I can change. So I can see there's red there, so I want to get rid of that. I can see there's some red there, which means it didn't select that. So again, whichever one you like. And you can see if you go over a little bit, I'm just going to flip it to minus, and I'm going to do Control Plus. Zoom right in there. So take your time and make a good selection. Don't just say, oh, this is fine. Don't do mediocre photos when you can do great photos. Don't be lazy. I know you guys can do it. And then, so I'm just refining the edge a little bit. And again, you could come over here and you can feather it. So feather it means it kind of makes the edge a little fuzzy. So this is making the edges have more contrast. You can shift the edge so you can make it like so it comes out a little bit or cuts in a little bit. All sorts of tools. So if you like to do composite stuff, this is a great tool. Oop, I'm doing the wrong one. I want to be on Add. So now I'm not going to spend so much time doing this just because you guys are watching me right now. So there is that little spot right there. There's also another tool that's Detect Edges that I haven't used too much. But you could see it's finding those edges. So just play around. Okay. And then, so I want this to be gone. I had some weird settings set. That's why it kept giving me that little menu. But I want to add here. And then I want to take away. So this is grass. So I want this gone. My turkey neck. Can I get rid of my turkey neck too? Probably. Okay. Then the rest of that's pretty good. So I said, take your time. Don't rush like I am because you're watching me. And then once I kind of get it the way I want, just kind of double check right there. All right. And then I'm just going to go, okay. So now I have this beautiful selection. I'm going to make sure I'm back on my Move tool. Then I'm going to go down here and hit Layer Mask. So now, do you see what it did? So it took away everything except my selection, which is me. So if your layers are aligned pretty good, nothing else should have really changed. I can see right up here, there's a little bit missing because of the way when I took the pictures, they were off a little bit. But then I'm just going to kind of zoom in and make sure everything looks good. So this is where if like you miss something in your selection, you can be on your layer mask and you can use your brush. And it's just like every other layer masking thing that we've done. Remember, the white reveals, the black conceals, so I could go back and fix it here as well. So nothing you do is gone. So I'm going to just Control Z, undo that. So like I could go here and the stool's going to show up. Ta-da! And then I just want you to notice, you can see like the colors are a little bit different and the focus is a little bit different. So this is why it's really crucial when you're taking your photos that they are the exact same setting. So I'm going to Control Z. So you can play around if you mess something up with your layer mask and bring it back and fix it. Alright, so that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to just crop that little magic or little checkerboard. And then as a final, don't just say it's done now. You can save it as a JPEG and edit it in Lightroom, or you can just edit it right here, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to my adjustments, and it's kind of the same. You have your levels for brightness, contrast. I'm going to do a color edit because it's kind of blue. Actually, I wanted to use a different tool, but it's okay. So my saturation, vibrant, so these are all the kind of same as what we do in Lightroom, just a little different right there. And then to go back, I just go to adjustments. You can see there's my adjustment layer. I can go to levels, play around with the contrast. So just tweak it a little bit. Or like I said, just save it and edit it in Lightroom, and then you'll have your familiar settings. But I'm just going to call that good for now. Then I'm going to right click. I'm going to flatten my image. So now it is just one layer. I'm going to go to File, Export as JPEG. Make sure you got high quality. And then save it where you save your lovely photographs. And that's it. Alright, so if you have any questions in class, please let me know. And I can't wait to see what you do. I'm really excited for this one. Good job.